Hey everybody, welcome to the Bible study. Today we are going to study from the miracles of Jesus. Is a series, and I know we think maybe some miracles that Jesus did and was not related with the healing. We don't think it was actually a miracle, but this time I think we consider miracles. Even catching on the fish, it's a miracle if your business goes down. Let's dive in. So we are in Luke 5, verses 1 to 11. Jesus calls his first disciples. All right, let's get to the first verse. One day, as Jesus was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, the people were crowding around him and listening to the word of God. Imagine that you are around so many people, like crowded around you. Everybody want to touch you. Everybody want to be healed. Everybody want to be transformed. Everybody want to hear what you have to say. You're teaching, you know. Just think about to walk as Jesus did every day. And who will not go for, I will probably go for the teaching, but some people will go for the healing. So they were crowded of people every single day. So what he did, verse 2, he saw the water's edge two boats left there by the fishermen who were washing their nets. So the boats were left by the side there where he was at the shore, while the fishermen they were washing their nets. And sometimes they have like I would say crabs or whenever they catch, they don't need it. I don't think they ate in that time. There was no so popular like these days, and Jewish will not eat seafood except fish. They will not eat crabs or lobster, nothing like that. So they probably, whenever they were caught, by mistake, they gotta get rid of it, wash them, make sure that they are fresh for the next day. Verse 3, he got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, which was Simon Peter later on, was named by Jesus, and asked him to put out a little from shore. So he's asking Peter, which was called, his name was Simon, till Jesus renamed him. Don't you think like when Jesus comes around, he rename you, gives you a new name that he knows that suits you perfectly? It was not by mistake he got in Simon's Peter boat. He knew who Peter was, and he knew what he was dealing with. So he knew. He reads you like an open book. You can't hide from Jesus. Then he sat down and taught the people from the boat. So he was exactly, that's why I chose this picture. He was sit down, but because it was Peter's boat, he said Peter was in the boat with him. He sat down from the shore a little bit further that people would not just be crowded, so crowded around him that he could breathe easily. And he was teaching. His teaching was something out of this world. People just wanna just like listen and listen and listen. Okay, let's go next. When he had, verse 4, when he had finished speaking, he said to Simon Peter, put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch. Now, Jesus knew who Peter was and what happened. So when Jesus walks to you, you're not just healed, changed, transformed, your sin forgiven, everything. Your business will flourish. And that's why I call this a miracle. And then I put it under the miracles. Because when Jesus comes and touches your business and tells you what to do, you better listen. If Jesus tells you, do that, or do this, you better listen, because he knows the future. He sees in the future. He knows he's a prophet, he's a seer, he knew what's going to happen. So, and then I underline, let down the nets for a catch. The nets, plural, not just one, the nets. So they were washing them, preparing for the next day. And look what Simon Peter answered. Simon answered, Master. So he knew who Jesus was. He is listening to Jesus. This is the first time he encountered Jesus. He was sitting there listening like anybody else what Jesus had to say to the crowd. His teaching was out of this world, because he is out of this world. He's Jesus, the Son of God. And Simon Peter answered, Master, we like him, his team, and his partners, there were two boats, so they worked together. We worked hard all night, like getting those nets in and putting them down, going somewhere else, putting them down, on and off and off, and haven't caught anything. Imagine. So the business was pretty much break come see, like he was struggling in his business, and everybody else around him. Now he listened to Jesus teaching, and he said, but because you say so, I will let down the nets. In some translation say, I will let down the net, or I will let down the nets. But even though my understanding that Peter did not, well, Simon was named before, but Peter did not let all the nets down as Jesus asked him. He let just one down. That was my understanding. So when they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. I say they didn't use, because the other ones, when with the boat was empty, they could use theirs as well. They could lay all the nets they had available. So when Jesus comes around, what we learn from this? When Jesus comes around and tells you, for example, in your business, do this or apply that, or do it, and not just like, remember that the widow with a little bit of oil, and I believe that was the oil that people, they use in alabaster box, like a very very fine oil, and she had a little bit. That was a very expensive oil, at nard. So she went and borrowed some jars from the neighbors. She probably wishes she would probably get some more, but as much as she pour in, so the same with Jesus. So as much she pour in, he filled it up to the top till it went to the last jar, and it ended. The same here. If he will put all the nets out for fishing, will be catch much more. But even though I believe in one net, as all the pictures that they emphasize that, when they had, so verse 6, when they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them, and they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. Imagine your business going to explode. Like, so many people are coming to buy your merchandise whenever you're selling. I'm not sure what's your business out there and what you're doing, but imagine when Jesus comes along and you follow what his instructions, you will have such a business like you never had before, like blooming, I would say, out of, season. So it's interesting. So this is the miracle. So when Simon Peter saw this, like this is like we were like whole night long, like two boats, like going back and forth and all that, and they didn't get nothing, nothing. But when Jesus say, "Let down the nets," they did. The miracle happened. Wow. Mm. A miracle is about to happen to you, the one that you're listening and you're watching this video on YouTube. A miracle is going to happen to your business. A miracle is happen to your in your life. A miracle like multiplication is not just one fish, two fishes. There were lots of them about to sink two boats all together. Like never had since he was a fisherman that much in his entire life. And that's a miracle. Let's go next. Now, look what happened next. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord. I'm a sinful man." He knew, like, he was so touched by this, like, they go night by night, try to feed the family, they sell it, they keep some for themselves as well for food, but try to sell them in the marketplace and feed their family. And was like night by night, so many people, nothing, and all of a sudden this like so much. For I'm a sinful man. For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken, and so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's Peter's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, now this is very important, this part I want to just emphasize. Don't be afraid. Why? Because it's hard to leave what you knew all your life to do and follow Jesus. Like, for example, you have a business, and all of a sudden God is making work very well, but God tells you that will not be your final destination. You're going to work for Jesus. You're going to be a missionary. You're going to be an apostle. You're going to be whenever, a pastor in the church, and he wants you to take you from there, from your business, to place you in his work. And that's why Jesus underlined here, don't be afraid, because what is going to happen is different that he ever experienced. From now on, we are back in the verse 10. From now on, you will fish for people. Wow. Okay, so that was a little bit too much to take in. With all this, he was overwhelmed just to see how much fish they got. The business kind of flourished all of a sudden. And so they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything, and followed him. They did automatically, they left everything and followed Jesus. Now, what happened to Peter? He became a fisherman of men. He was, I would say, fishing men, but their soul turned their soul to Jesus, like fish, as per se, like fish. And it says like you will fish for people. And what is so astonished is that when God finds you where you are, he uses you from what you know to do. So Peter knew how to fish. He said, you're going to be fish, will fish for people. Some people, for example, they were in prison, they were like um, doing bad things, ended up in prison. They use them, they get them out from prison. It's what God works. Get them out from prison and use them in the ministry. Like they end up having their own ministry and going to prisoners for healing and saving their souls. Some others, they are just saying, for example, nurses. God is using nurses. They're in the field of healing. So they use nurses to get them in a ministry for healing. So he's using, whenever you are used to work before, because you have the experience, he's in the ministry that he puts you, is you using what he trained you so far. You didn't even know it. He's trained you for that specific reason, and then he's using you in a ministry. And I've seen it all the time. And it was even I watch a movie. It was this gentleman. He was using, like, he liked the guns, the shotguns, and all that, cursing and all that. He became a preacher, and then he ended up in Africa. To build an orphanage. But then they were like, I'm sure they call it, these people that come to destroy and kill the innocent people, destroy families, like gangs. I don't know how they call it over there, but anyway. And it was, I believe it was in Sudan. And then he needed to buy shotguns there to protect those kids in the orphanage, and they were running around. So he's using, whenever he used before, even like shotguns, he was like ferocious. He's using, even as a preacher, he was there protecting those children that they ended up with nobody because their family were killed, their mothers and fathers, and they end up in, like, he made an orphanage. It was a very, very interesting movie. But whenever you used to work with, God is using you in his ministry, and you grew there, and you're perfect. He picks you up and puts you right where you're supposed to go. And it's what he did with Peter. And that's why, because it's like, catch so much fish, like your business, it gets so overwhelmed. All of a sudden you have so many customers, you know what to do, you got to hire people. Imagine, don't you like that? You got to hire so many people to do the work, and your business kind of is like staying, like exploding, so many people buying your products or whatever you're doing. And it's called miracle. So that's why it was placed in the miracles, the section here. Wow. I hope that you enjoy this Bible study as much as I enjoy it. Till next time, I say goodbye. Goodbye now.